Okay. All right. So tonight's lesson, it's not not long. Hopefully, like for the most part, these Friday night lessons are not really going to be really long lessons. It's going to be more lessons just focusing on Yashaya and how he calls us to understand whatever it is the message is for the week that's needed. So it's more just to really focus on key points and not really going through like a whole bunch of precepts. Like a large lesson. It's more so just something to think about and really overemphasize and think about, because each point of Yashaya we really want to focus on, because at some point we want to be as much of Yashaya as we possibly can. And we want to be as much of Yashaya as we possibly can. And that's what we're working towards and stuff, is moving out of whatever we've come out of. Some of us is closer to it than others, and some of us, we got to pull each other along and stuff. But at the end of the day, man, we need to, get as much of Yashaya in our spirit as we possibly can. And we got to constantly flush that old man out, that old man that's coming from the world, coming from these other religious fats, and that's got, which has us, in some kind of bondage to whatever their purpose is, but not really pushing us close to Yashaya. So, this is just one more message of encouragement to just help brothers and sisters, including myself, flush out that old negative spirit, as much of it out as possible each week, each day, just something to think about. So the name of this lesson is one of many ways to love. Okay, so this is what this is still the focus of. And when we go into this love thing, it's not, like I said, the old Christian love where we just love, but don't deal with issues. We just love and forgive, but have animosity because we haven't properly, addressed, the love righteously. So what we're gonna do is, just really go into this love, how to bring our spirit closer to Christ and closer to one another, okay, by loving one another, and so, just the love of Yashaya that we're gonna go into right now. So if you get our Bibles out, we're gonna start off in the Gospels, and I would like to say to the brothers and sisters that's doing the group texting, if you could not group text during the lesson, because it comes through my phone and it kind of is a little distracting. So if you guys can just hold off until after the lesson, I'd appreciate it and stuff. If you can do that for me, I really would appreciate that. So as we're going forward, moving on to one of many ways to love. So get our book to Mark 12 and 29. Let's start this love understanding off. All right, you ready, Art?
Yeah. All right. This is the book of. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 29. And Yashaya answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power.
So, we all understand that we're going to be operating and we're going to rally our spirit behind the one true God of heaven, the God of Israel. We know his name is of AHAYAH. You know, he's our power. He's the one that gives us the strength to operate amongst each other. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 30. Thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment.
Yes, we definitely want to always remember who our God is in all things that we do. You know, and we give him the glory. When we have the strength to forgive a brother, a sister, or whatever the case may be, we give all praises to the Most High to give us the ability and the strength to forgive, because we know, as we know, Israel is the most forgiving people out there. You know, we be forgiving the craziest things. Then we hold grudges on the silliest things, ironically. But then we can forgive the craziest things as well and stuff. So you got to always remember to put our God, our power first. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other the commandment greater than these.
Yes, and also loving one another is key to the whole entire thing. Okay, we cannot just look at the people on the earth, like, you know, especially Israelites, as if we're just some obstacle in the way. You know, we're just some obstacle in the way or something. You know, we are just as important as worshiping the Father. Is to love our neighbor as ourselves. So whatever love we have for ourselves, whatever we expect from ourselves, we got to love our neighbors the same way. Okay? So let's go to, just to back that up, let's go to Matthew 7 and 12. Go ahead, Ak.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. So this is the law and the prophets.
So right here, man, I mean, we always got to keep in mind, anytime, you know, whatever we do to one another, you better make sure it's something that you would want people to do unto you. Don't ever impose anything on somebody that you don't want to be imposed on you. You know, if you see a brother that's down and out and stuff, I'm pretty sure, or a sister for that matter, you know, you would want, you know, somebody to come over, give you a helping hand. Sometimes this is, you know, as they're opening up CERN and all these spirits are flying around, and sometimes a brother or sister just needs a phone call just to know that there's a friendly voice on the other side. Got to deal, you know, you see what's going on. People are getting attacked in the workforce. They got these vaccinations about to come out. You know, the people at work are operating in a different spirit. Sometimes a brother or sister, you know, just need a phone call just to hear a friendly voice. Somebody that loves Yashaya and somebody that's on the same page with them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but just always don't ever treat anybody any differently than you would want to be treated. You know, that is a law and stuff, and you will be measured by that law and stuff, you know. So we got to always keep that in mind in all things and stuff. And sometimes you may even want to even treat people better than you even treat yourself, just to make sure you have that end covered, you know. So just keep that in mind. All right, go next verse.
Verse 13. You want me to read verse 12 again, up?
Go ahead, read it again.
Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
You always got to keep that in mind in all things, man. No matter how hard it is, find the strength to keep that balance in your life. Walk that straight and narrow. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there shall be which go in thereat.
They're at. So yeah, man, we got to get off that broad skate, man. We can't act like everybody else. I mean, Yashaya totally goes against the grain on just about everything that we've learned and everything that we've operated coming up in our lives. I mean, who understands to turn the other cheek after getting slapped? Or who thinks about when somebody steals your coat, give them, give them your coat. Somebody steals your coat, give them your coat also. Who does that? That's totally against the grain. That's that straight and narrow. We got to operate within a spirit that's against what everybody else is, what the norm is. We got to come into that understanding that Christ has a whole different way of operating that we haven't operating. And the longer we've been on this earth, the longer we've been operating in that broad sense. We react to things like everybody else reacts, but we can't do that no more. We got to look at how Yashaya does it and do the very best we can to operate in the manner that he says do it. I mean, show love to those who's acting unruly towards you. If they're acting unruly, still have that spirit of love regardless. Now, it's not that love where you're not going to deal with the problem if there's a problem, but it's still, you want to stay in that spirit of love and acceptance and patience and stuff. We got to be on that straight gate. We can't do what everybody else does. We can't react the way everybody else reacts and stuff. We got to go against the grain. I mean, it's uncomfortable. I know it is. It's very uncomfortable because it's not what you're used to doing. But we got to encourage one another to operate like that now. When you see it, it don't have to be all straight out war about it. We got to, iron sharpening iron. It's easy to fall out of the spirit. Very easy to fall out of the spirit. It's hard to stay in the spirit, especially when your spirit's been tested and stuff. So we got to get on that straight gate. This is what's going to separate us from the rest of the world. These are the things, these are the building blocks that's going to make us hated of all nations. Because I remember sometimes out on the street, people come out, me, Azariah, and Zamar be out in the street, and people just cursing us out and doing all type of stuff, and there'll be other people getting mad for us. Be like, man, how can you guys just take that? You know what I'm saying? And to us, it's just, we've been so used to doing it. It's like, it's not even no sweat anymore. But in that environment, it's no big deal anymore. But we got to be like that in every facet of our lives when those kind of things come up, man, going against the grain and operating in the spirit, when things happen. So it's just one of those things that we got to keep in mind, man. We can't do what our people in the world are doing. We're supposed to be the examples for them and show them a better way. Okay? Let's go to Isaiah 5:20. Go ahead, Op.
Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put on darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter.
Yeah, that's just another thing, man. Just believe it or not, man, like I said, you got people that's, operating in the spirit of, trying to, driving towards that spirit of Yashaya. And what does not seem normal to what we've been used to in the world or even in other religious fads, seems to be evil now. Seems to be evil because now, you operating differently. You're reacting differently. Your mission is different. And people look at it as evil and stuff, because most majority of the world is going to look at what you're doing as evil because it's different, man. Just think about the first time you said you was going to lay down Christmas. You got some people that's in the truth that still don't understand that, you know, you want to take a stand against these pagan feast days. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it ain't going to hurt if I just, you know, go, you know, and do that with my family. Yeah, it's not a bad thing if you have a specific purpose in mind. If you're there to gain a brother or a sister, or be an example for a brother or sister, or a few, that's one thing. But if you're going there to be all indulged in the celebration, then that's another. You know what I mean? So, you know, people are looking at what we're doing as evil, especially the more and more we separate ourselves from, you know, from being away from the spirit of Yashaya. And it's still a race. We're still climbing towards them. We ain't all there yet, because once we find the first brother to walk on water, then we know that brother's there. You know what I'm saying? Until we see that, we all still climbing to that. And, you know, we got to fight off those spirits that's trying to pull us back and saying we're not worthy enough to be there. We should stay with the norm and stuff. So you got to be careful when the rest of the world is looking at something that we're doing and how we're operating and how we're coming across, or whatever the case may be, is evil. You know, you got to remember, Christ is saying, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, because the rest of the world is not going to understand Christ, because they ain't never been taught Christ. That's our job. Our job is to bring forth Christ in all his personalities. Not that he has multiple personalities, but he has different sides that he chose within these gospels. And we got to be all of those. We can't just be one aspect of them and say we got them. No, we got to be all of them. One brother might have one aspect of him stronger than another, or one sister might have one aspect that's stronger than another. We gotta rally behind the spirit that operates in Christ in all of us, and encourage it. And don't be scared, because and don't be ashamed. Okay, we gotta stand for each other, and stand for these gospels, and stand for the spirit of Christ that dwells amongst us. Okay, and let that be our strength moving forward, because at the end of the day, we got to pull whatever piece of Christ we have individually, we got to pull all that together amongst each other, and we got to be strong. And I'm guarantee you, man, people in the world, people that in other camps and other, they're not going to like it if they're not operating in that same spirit and stuff. But we got to be tight no matter what, and we got to grow as Christ in Yashaya together. Okay, so let's go to First John 4:20. Go ahead.
This is the book of John, 1 John, chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love AHAYAH, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love AHAYAH, whom he hath not seen?
Yeah, man. I mean, I know this is a rallying cry amongst us, you know, and we can't say this enough, man. We got to love our brother first. We got to love our brother first, man. We won't even be worthy to come to the Most High. Like he said, when the guy tried to bring his gift to the altar, he says, well, before you bring your gift, why don't you go settle things with your brothers first? And then once you settle things with your brother first, then you're worthy to come to me and bring gifts. And that's just how it is, bro. We got to fight for this love for our brothers regardless. You know, and we got to be patient, long-suffering, and show the brother when the brothers being unruly, unbearable, unthinkable, all those things, still try to send a hope of love. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not here to support anybody's madness, but at the same time, understanding that, you know, if we were going off and we were struggling and we were doing something that was out of line, out of pocket, you know, we would want our brothers to still come love us regardless of how we've done, especially when we came for our sisters. We want to know that there's a soft toe that comes to, man, especially if a brother repents. That's why Christ says, forgive your brother 70 times 70. We always got to have that spirit, man, because the goal is the kingdom. This evil and wicked world, there's nothing to hold on to. There's no pride. Why be prideful here? What's the point of being prideful in this land? It's got to come to naught. Okay, but when we all get to when we all get to the kingdom, all the little petty things that we squatted over is gonna mean nothing at the end anyway. So why not show the love toward your brother first and stuff? So now then we can get that power and that spirit of Yashaya, dwelling with us when and find ourselves worthy, because we can't come to him unless we do that anyway. Okay, next verse.
Verse 21, and this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth AHAYAH love his brother also.
That's right. So if somebody's off on a tangent, it's all about me and the Most High. It's me and my personal relationship with the Most High, and just stomping all over their brothers. They want to mind the brother, man. It's like, no, the Most High wants. Well, He put us on the earth to get along with one another. That's why He got commandments in the Bible how to deal with one another. You know what I'm saying? And He's watching how you deal with one another. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you got it. We must extend that brotherly love. A brother's down, he's in need. He needs help, and it's also sisterly love as well. We got to be there. Just a little bit will go a long way. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we got to deal with somebody's rhetoric over and over and over and over again. Sometimes just so he knows the brother's going to be there for him, regardless. But yeah, we got to still extend that brotherly love. Because if you don't love your brother, the Most High is basically saying here, if you don't love your brother, you don't love me. So we always want to keep that in mind when we're dealing with one another. Okay, so instead of John 15 and 12. Okay, go ahead.
John 15 and 12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you.
There you go, man. So this is part of being in that spirit of Yashaya. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be measured. We're measuring up our spirit to Yashaya. We gotta love our next brother like Yashaya loved us. And you know what Yashaya did. You know what I'm saying? He went through torture for us. And we gotta be willing to do the same exact thing for our brothers. You know what I mean? We gotta love one another in that same manner. We can't forsake one another. We gotta deal with each other's shortcomings. We gotta deal with each other's, like I said, what one of our principles are. Meet each other's brothers where they're at. In fact, everybody needs to put their phones on mute. That's got their personal phones on mute. Water. Like I said, like our motto is, we gotta love, our neighbor and meet them where they're at. There's gonna be people that's gonna be way out in left field, man, and we gotta go all the way out to left field where they're at and sit with them and bring them all the way back to home plate. That's our jobs, man. We gotta leave the 99 and capture the 1. And that's the only way we got to do it. We can't be where we're at and expect them to get there, because they don't know the way. They're blind. They have no way. They don't know. We got to guide them there and stuff. So we got to sit with them, and we got to be patient with them. And so that's what we're called to do. Love us. Love our brothers like Christ loved us, or Yashaya loved us. Go ahead. And continue to love us this day. Go ahead.
Verse 13, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
That's right. How many people, is willing to sacrifice, for their friends? I'll sacrifice for the Most High, but yeah, okay, but how many are going to sacrifice for your brother, for your sister? Sister's having a rough moment in time. How much are you going to sacrifice your own happiness to ease some of the pain that your brother or your sister going through. You know what I'm saying? You know, you was about to go, you was about to go with your family, just for the sake of not even, having anything smart to say. You know, you're forsaking to go to a trip down to Disneyland, to hang out with your brother or sister that's just having a rough time in the spirit. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna lay down my life, man. I'm not dealing with that, man. My brother needs me for a little bit. How many of us is willing to do that? So this is what he's talking about, man. When you know a brother needs you or a sister needs you, are you going to be there for them? Are you going to sacrifice for them? All right. Next verse.
Verse 14. Ye are my friends, and ye do whatsoever I command you.
So we gotta really study Yashaya and see the extent that he went to show the love towards us. And he's telling us right here, man, we're his friends if we do what he tells us to do. So sometimes this might even feel uncomfortable because you might think like you're spinning your wheels with a brother or sister. You might be spinning. I know Christ dropped his word and kept it pushing, but he was, like I said, Jude, like my brother Malak always says, he knew what Judas was going to do the whole time. He knew Judas was robbing the treasury. He knew, Judas was going to betray him. He was going to give him up. But he still did not treat Judas less than a brother, knowing all of this. You know what I'm saying? How many of us can do that? And not too sure about a brother and still show him the love regardless, that that brother's just kind of sketchy or, we just kind of, wondering about him. We gotta jump into that spirit when that brother is maybe off kill a little bit. We gotta hold that line. We gotta still hold that line and stuff until the brother comes back. And maybe like my brother Amar said, sometimes we gotta let a brother have his space for a minute and stuff. And then when that space is up, our arms are wide open. Welcome him back, trying to pull him back in. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be like that, regardless. Okay? 2 Peter 3:8. All right, go ahead.
So book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
Okay, so the Most High's it's like one day with him is like 1,000 years to us, right? So he's telling you right there, he's been dealing with this stuff with us for a very long time. Go ahead.
Verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
So just like our Father is long-suffering with us, he's been long-suffering with us. We got to be the very same with our brothers and sisters. We got to bear it. We got to bear it. We got to bear that long-suffering as hard as it is, man. We got to suck it up. If you're struggling with a brother, long-suffering, man, call up another brother and say, hey, man, I need encouragement dealing with this brother or this sister or whatever the case may be because, I'm losing my patience. And then we got to encourage each other, man. We got to be long-suffering with our brothers. Remember, we're a broken people. There's spirits flying around. Pray, fast, do whatever we got to do. Lay hands on one another. Call that brother and say, hey, man, let's lay hands or something. Let's fast together. Let's break these spirits and stuff because this is going to be a fight all the way to the wilderness. And the less people that's on the earth, when all this stuff breaks hard, there's going to be more available spirits to attack. You know what I'm saying? As men are perishing. So we got to get tighter and tighter and tighter in the spirit and stuff. So that long suffering, man, we got to practice that. As hard as it is, man, we got to practice it because our Father in heaven, He's been long suffering for us. I know all of us did at least one thing in our lives that we think we're not even worthy of entering into the kingdom and stuff. But the Father's still long suffering with our behavior, so we got to do the same. Okay, regardless of how we feel and regardless of what we're dealing with. All right, let's go to Genesis 27 and 29. We got to push each other, Yashaya. We got to push each other. Humbleness, meekness, and the spirit, man. We have to push one another in this. Sometimes a brother will act out of the spirit and just need another brother or sister to kind of, with patience and meekness, and remind the brother or sister, because sometimes we just kind of lose it. We just lose it. And then next, we need somebody to bring us back and stuff. Yeah, because we all trying to get to that finish line together. Okay? So Genesis 27 and 29.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 29. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
Okay, so usually when I bring this scripture out, I usually bring this out, in the sense of, the curses. If you curse Jacob, you're going to get cursed. But let's talk about the blessings. Man, if you feel in your heart, in your spirit, man, this is very easy for everybody on this line and anybody that hears this recording. If you want to raise the level of your blessing, start blessing Israel. Just start doing it. If it's, man, I feel like I don't got anything, and I feel like I'm in the dumps and this and that, I'm feeling like this, well, just go start blessing Israel. Starting with your brothers, the brothers and sisters around you. Start doing that. And then the blessings are going to come. It may not come like right when you want it, but it's going to come at the right time. I guarantee you that. So it's easy. Everybody has control of that. Everybody. There's not. I mean, you may not get the, $500,000 a year job. You may not have control of that, but you do have control whether you go bless Israel. There's many ways you can bless Israel. You don't have to do something just also great. Just little things to bless your brothers and sisters. And use that as a practice. Let that become in your spirit. I know, like, sometimes these things are, a little difficult, but we still want to raise that level of spiritual strength. Start blessing your brothers and sisters. Even at the times where it may even seem like they don't even deserve a blessing. Still bless your brother and sister, so they can see the correct way to operate in the spirit of Yashaya. All right? What's one of the greatest ways to love your brothers and sisters? We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. It's humbling your spirit, to a base level person amongst your brothers and sisters. All right, let's go to John 13 and 5. All right, go ahead, up.
Salakia. That's John 13 and 5. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded.
Yeah, here you got the greatest man that's ever walked the earth, the greatest man in history, the most powerful man, whatever you want, whatever greatness. Well, you don't even want to be called good, but we know the magnitude of Yashaya. Well, when we talk about the men that walked the earth, he was greater than all men that's ever walked the earth. And here he is at the level of washing feet. Just like, you know, you go to the Egyptian courts and all that other stuff, you got the kings and all that other stuff, and they're standing there and they got all these servants wiping them down and everything, you know, while they're, Yashaya humbled himself down to that level, okay? Blessing his disciples just through washing their feet. Go ahead.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet?
Go ahead.
Dost thou wash my feet? Verse 7. Yashaya answered and said unto him, What I doest thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. Peter said unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Yashaya answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me.
There you go. Man, that's some powerful stuff, man. Peter's looking at him like, man, this ain't how we operate in the earth. Woe to them that says good is evil, evil's good. Walking on that straight and narrow opposed to the broad path. Yeshua's going against the grain here. You got the greatest man who's ever walked the earth at the level, humble himself to the level of a servant, just a mere servant washing his feet. And he's like, no, you need me to wash you, brother. You know, you need to become, I'm an example for you, because you're going to have to walk around this earth washing feet and washing people all over the earth in this humble state. The greatest man amongst you is going to become your servant. And here he is, the king, who's going to be king over the whole earth, is washing dirty feet. Okay? Our mentality has to be there in all things. Next verse.
Verse 9. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Yeshaya say unto him, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
Go ahead.
Yeshaya say to him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean. Every whit, and ye are clean, but not all.
Here you go. You got now Peter's getting into all that, man. So seeing that you're into washing feet, you know what I'm saying? You know, wash my hands, my head, washing everything. I want to be totally clean now. You know, so he's starting to get the picture and stuff. You know, if Yeshua's gonna wash, he's gonna wash me just my feet. She wash everything. I want to be clean all over and stuff. You know, so and Yeshua told him not about all. You don't need all that washed and stuff. So it's all good, Peter. But Peter's starting to catch on. Go ahead.
Verse 12. I'm sorry,
11.
verse 11. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said, Ye are not all clean.
Mm-hmm.
So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you?
They have no idea. See, a lot of times, things that's happening, when you try to do something, everybody they looking at it from the physical, but then there's spiritual implications there as well. So he's just teaching them a lesson by him, doing that act. Go ahead.
All right. Verse 13. Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
There you go. So that should prompt you to go off and washing one another's feet. I'm just showing you the way. I'm your example. So you see what I did? This is what you need to do. Go out there and wash one another. All you guys need to humble. Whatever pride, whatever exalted spirit that you're operating and dealing with, and anybody here that think they're great, you need to go down there and start washing people's feet. And it's like one of those things like you see like Karate Kid or something, where he have them just stroking the paint on the fence until have him doing certain things until he humbles himself. And then now you're ready to be taught. Now you're ready to learn. So you need to go wash people's feet for a while. Once you humble yourself, now that you know greater than any of these people right here, now you can go amongst them and teach them. You can be a leader amongst them. But once you think you're greater and you're above them and you think you're something, you can't teach nobody nothing. Okay? So that's part of the lesson here. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 15. For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you.
No servant is greater than his master. No servant is greater than his master. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent than he that sent him.
So he's even saying that I'm not greater than the Most High, so don't put me on that level. Okay, I'm not greater than he, and y'all ain't greater than me. You know what I'm saying? So are you seeing what I'm doing? Y'all need to do the same thing. You need to humble yourself to the level of a servant before you go out there and teach. If you cannot handle being a servant, then you don't need to be out there teaching. You are leading. You got to lead through servitude. Go ahead.
Verse 17. If ye know these things, happy are ye if you do them.
You'll be very, very happy being a servant than trying to be a Lord. Okay? Matthew 20 and 25. Being a Lord is stress. You know what I'm saying? Being a Lord is stress. It's easier being a servant. Okay? Easier. Life is easier. So, but the ones that want to exalt themselves, they're going to have problems. They're going to be stressed out. Okay?
Matthew chapter 20, verse 25. So Yashaya called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them.
See, they rule the people, just like I said, again, Yashaya is going against the grain here. They rule by exercising dominion, king. I'm the president, I'm this, I'm, Pharaoh, or I'm, whatever, and everybody recognizes that stature. Like they walk into the room, everybody's bowing and all these things. They exercise their dominion. But go ahead.
Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them.
That's right. And they make sure that everybody knows who's in charge. Okay? If you forgot, they will remind you in many kind of ways. We can't operate that way. That's after the mind and the spirit of the Gentiles, and we know what God they deal with. Okay, that's not how brothers and sisters in Yashaya are supposed to operate. We're not supposed to operate as dominion and authoritative over our brothers and sisters. No lords of the Most High heritage in any kind of way. Even if you hold a position of some kind of so-called stature within amongst the brethren, still you're going to exercise dominion over your brothers. Go ahead.
Verse 26. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister.
Go ahead.
And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant.
We have to be a servant at all times. At all times. Base level brothers. Everybody's above. If you're the leader, or if you're one of the leaders or recognized as a leader, you should be at the bottom and everybody should be above you. We should be the servants of the people. Period. That's just how it works. Being a servant. All right. And even if you're you're one of the people that's being served by the so-called leaders, you should be out there serving others that needs to be served. So you're just not just soaking up being served. As the people, the so-called leaders are serving you, you should be serving others. And so you got a bunch of people operating in the spirit of Yashaya, being servants to the people. You know, nobody, not one person should be just soaking up all this, you know, attention of being served by people and not doing their part. Okay, so you want to start blessing, getting your blessings. Start being a servant to Israel. Find a way to be a servant. Okay, your blessings. Then you're stacking up your blessings. You know, easing that pain and that sorrow of spirit that you may be having if you're feeling like you ain't getting no blessing, and you're storing up those treasures in heaven at the same time. It's not about learning, and it's not, you know, it's the simple things that we got to come back to. It's not about how many precepts you know and how much you can break down this and break down that. It's just how you operate and how you act. These things are simple concepts that we just must implement on a day-to-day basis and make sure everybody around us feels very comfortable, you know, in the environment that we create. All right, through the spirit, and always having the spirit of Yashaya operating amongst us. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 28. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many.
There you go. So we're not supposed to be out there having people, you know, bow down to us and serve us and, you know, put us up in a pedestal and you're all this and you're all that. No, it's us to be doing all that. It's us to be exhorting, you know, the weak and the decrepit, the poor, the weak, the weak spirited and all that stuff. You know, we're supposed to go that mile with them to help them out. We're supposed to be a servant to the weak and stuff. So it's not for them to look at us like we're something that we're not. Okay? Let's go to Luke 4:18.
All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised.
There you go. We gotta be amongst the broken people that has not much of anything. The ones that just the brokenhearted, the ones that just feels that there's no hope, no more hope. I mean, how many times we've been out on the street talking to the people, they just feel like they have no hope. You know, just out there talking to them and sitting there, let them know it's okay. You know, the Most High got you. It's all you have to do is just keep working. You know, walk towards them and lay down whatever it is that is keeping you, from them. You know, we're all in captivity, like we preached before. Now, see, that's another thing, to preach deliverance to the captives. And like one of those the lessons that came out a couple of weeks ago made a lot of people feel uncomfortable, but there's people not only in physical captivity, but spiritual captivity. You know what I'm saying? You got to preach to the captives, whether they want to hear it or not. And stuff, and prick their mind and their conscience. What's got you in captivity, and how are you going to break that sense of captivity, and what's going to eliminate anything that's standing between you and Yashaya? Because just by the very words you speak, if you're speaking abominations, then you're exalting spirits, exalting people above you. When you put anybody above you like that, you're putting somebody between you and your Lord and Savior. So you got to learn not to do those things. Okay, so we got to preach deliverance to the captives, and it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be hated by all men by doing that, because they want their slaves. The ones that's working the physical plantation, they want their slaves. They make their money that way. The ones that got them in spiritual captivity, they want their tithes. They want their offerings. They want them giving all they have to the church and taking nothing for themselves. So they're going to be angry with you when you start to deliver the captives. And they're going to try to demonize you. But we got to do it anyway, regardless. It's not comfortable being hated of all men, but you got to do it anyway. That's what we're called to do. Okay? Recovering the sight to the blind. These people are blind. They're spiritually blind. They're saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, worshiping, and a lot of it's in ignorance. We got to uncover that veil that's been put over their spirit. You know, to set the liberties of them that bruise, man. There's people that just walked away from the church altogether. They're just tired of all this religion because there's no church. There's no truth nowhere. There's no trustworthy words. I've been here. I've been there. I've been everywhere. And I don't find God nowhere. We got to find these people. We got to show them that, man, we're just trying to love our brothers as we love ourselves. We try to show that love that we want people to love ourselves with. You can hang out with us, and all we can do is be a brother and sister to you. Go ahead.
Verse 19. To preach the acceptable year of the Lord.
Let them know that the Most High, the Lord's coming. He's going to deliver us. We gotta lay down, and we gotta be paying attention. We gotta lay down that madness that we've been doing and pay attention and assemble ourselves with like-minded brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And he closed the book, and he gave it again to the minister, and sat down. And the eyes of all them were in the synagogue were fastened on him.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. And he began to say unto them, This day is the scripture fulfilled in your ears.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
All bare him witness, and wondered at the gracious words which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, Is this not Joseph's son?
They're looking at him like, once again, when you're dealing with Yashaya, you're going to be speaking and operating and doing things that is just so unconventional to the everyday operations. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. What's up with this guy? What's he doing? You could have did this better. You could have did this like that. It looks like you're this way and you're that way. And so trying to make every type of excuses not to hear the word because they're not used to somebody becoming real. Because Yashaya, as you know, Yashaya was real. He was a straight shooter, and he was real. People want those smooth words. They want to be taught lies, smooth things. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to know what's really going on. They want to be in comfortability. But Yashaya is shaking that all up. And if we're going to be in Yashaya, we got to shake it all up in many different ways. There's many aspects of Yashaya that got to be presented before the world. And it's going to come with a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. If you think about 90% and 10%, but 90% of the people are going to want to come against you. 10%, is going to be most likely in agreement. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Verse 23. And he said unto them, Ye will surely say unto me this proverb, Physician, heal thyself. Whatsoever we have heard done in Capernaum, do also here in thy country.
Go ahead.
And he said, Verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country.
And it's been doing this stuff around the people that you grew up around, your family, people that's known you all your life. They're looking at you like, oh yeah, bro, you used to be like this, that, and the other thing. All of a sudden now you're trying to be religious. Okay, yeah, right. Like I'm gonna listen to you. Last week you was trying to, you was trying to flip cars. Now here you going trying to push a Bible. You're not gonna be accepted in your own dwelling space. So sometimes it may be good to go out amongst people that don't know you. And test the waters in those areas and stuff. So you have a clean slate, no biasness towards you. But, he's basically laying it down. So if you're doing a lot around your area and people are looking at you sideways, places where you grew up, just keep that in mind. All right? So last two scriptures, just summing it up, man, how we need to deal with one another. Through everything, through all our hardships and stuff like that. We go to Zechariah 7:9. We gotta deal with people's shortcomings with the pure spirit, man. We gotta go that extra mile spiritually, man, because whatever we give, we're gonna get back 100-fold. The most we fought through certain things against our nature being how, or now when I'm saying our nature, how what we've been accustomed to, our nature, not what the Most High created us to be, but our nature of what we've come to know. Man, we do these things against our negative nature, man, and fight for our brothers and sisters, fighting for the kingdom. Man, we're gonna reap what we sow. Last two scriptures, Zechariah 7:9.
Zechariah chapter 7, verse 9. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother.
We got to show mercy and compassion to every man, his brother. You know what I'm saying? Mercy. Because I know sometimes people do stuff, they went too far. They said things, they went too far. You know, and they figure, oh man, I'll never recover my relationship with that brother, man. I blew it, man. How the heck did I do that? We understand, man, this is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual war. Okay? Demons jump in and out of vessels constantly. Sometimes maybe a brother or sister did something they ain't got no business doing and allowed a demon to come in temporarily, or a demon's been hiding there somewhere. Your job as a brother, if you see another brother or a sister operating especially out of character, it's like, okay, this brother or sister's doing something. Let's go attack that demon that brother or sister's dealing with, instead of taking it, whatever they've done, so personal. We got to be merciful with one another. We got to be merciful. Even when we in our mind think a brother or sister don't deserve mercy, we got to give them mercy anyway. Guess what? Because none of us deserve mercy. Guarantee we don't deserve mercy. But we're going to get it if we follow Yashaya's commandments all the way to the end. And as much mercy you give, as much mercy you don't get. And so we got to be in that spirit. We got to be humble in that spirit. We got to walk that walk like Yashaya and be merciful even against the grain. We got to go against the grain with this. Last scripture. Matthew, we're going to end it with our Lord and Savior. Matthew 5:7. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
There you go. So, we want to obtain mercy, but you always got to keep in mind, man, with all your heart and all your soul, this place is going to come to an end. It's coming to an end. There's nothing to hold on. There's no pride to hold on to here. There's no, anything. It's all about the kingdom where everything is going to be healed. Your heart's going to be healed, your spirit, all that negativity that you experience on this side of things, all that's going to be done away. All of it. So there's no reason to be merciful for somebody, especially if they're asking for mercy or they're begging for mercy. We got to let it go and keep it pushing, and just remember, this is just one of those races. This a spirit trying to knock this brother down or this sister down and try to knock me down. Oh yeah, he punched me a couple of times in the stomach, the gut, and the nose. I was bleeding in my nose, but now my nose is healing, and it's time to get back up and run. That spirit's off that brother. All right, man, let's go. Let's keep running this race. You know what I'm saying? We got to be merciful, man. And as we're doing that for one another, the Most High is going to show us mercy. So with that being said, that was the last precept of the day. In the name of Yashaya, hopefully that the walk will walk a Qahal. Hopefully this lesson was edifying and you got something out of it. If anybody got any questions or comments, you can press 5-star, chime in. Anything to add,